Good afternoon, and thank you for being with us today. We just finished listening to the annual report by Supreme Knight Patrick Kelly, and to help me with our continued coverage, I am again joined by Father Haig Chahinian, our CEO, and from the Supreme Office of the Knights of Columbus, we're joined by Mike Phelan. Let me see if I get this right. Director of Leadership Development.
Yeah, Fraternal Leadership Development.
Sounds
correct.
very important, and we're going to get to know a little bit about what that is, which seems like a major new initiative that we heard a little of.
Yes, our Supreme Knight referred to it a little bit. Good to be with you, Deacon Pedro, here in our nation's capital, and with you, Father Haig. What a gift to be here. I'm always inspired by our Supreme Knight. He went through a lot in his address. I would like to, a lot. I mean, it was, but very powerful, very powerful moments. My particular work is with the Leadership Development Office, which is a new initiative as far as having an office dedicated to it. And so one of our top 6 goals headed into our 150th anniversary in 2032 is to develop excellent leaders. And so I'm part of that new team. I get to travel and see our Knights, encourage them, and we're starting a whole development process for Knights to grow in their leadership capabilities.
So what does that process look like? Are you catering towards a particular age? Is it a particular program? And what does that development look like?
Thank you for that question. Our initial foray into this is called the McGivney Fellowship. And so we asked the state deputies to send a worthy man who's got great leadership potential to a voluntary program to help us develop the curricula, the process, and the experiences that the men have. We're in our 2nd year with that. And we'll finish in May with our first cohort, about 60 men. And it's been a joy to work with them. We're focused on Christ-centered and virtuous leadership. That's the basis of our development. So we've begun, and from there we'll grow it to ideally all levels of the Knights of Columbus.
Now, of course, because we're media, I'm interested in this video series that I know would have been developed under your office or the department.
Prior to my arrival, but our leader, the Vice President of Ethics and Leadership Education, Dr. Joe McInerney, developed a video series which lays out how do you understand Christ as a leader,
right,
and then the virtues that flow from him, and how do we grow in those ourselves.
And this is a series that's available for councils to use, or parishes to use?
Correct.
Men in their parish?
Yes, with their councils at the local parish level, with the core program. Study guide and video series, very easy to run and cause good conversation.
Yeah. Now we can see, maybe not see a little bit of the people behind us as they come out from the main convention hall. And you can fill us in a little bit about the logistics. So we've just heard the bulk of the session.
Correct.
But there's a business session that continues?
It goes a little into greater detail tomorrow about the nitty-gritty aspects of things. Our Supreme Knight laid out the large themes of what he wanted to share about this remarkable year that the Knights of Columbus have had. And that's what this event does, is lifts up those good things and then points to the future.
Exactly.
So, tomorrow it'll be nitty-gritty business.
Nitty-gritty business, not the exciting stuff.
Yeah.
He did mention a lot of things. I was just going to ask if there anything other than obviously the leadership stuff, that anything stood out for you that you think is significant, that our viewers need to make sure that they didn't miss it.
Yeah. I want to lift up a couple of things that I know our Supreme Knight would want lifted up. And one is that our number one goal headed into 2032 is to be first in faith as in charity.
Right.
And so the Knights have launched 3 years ago something called the CORE Initiative. And it's CORE meaning hearts, the Latin word for hearts. And it comes from Cardinal Newman's Cor ad cor loquitur, heart speaks to heart. Mm-hmm. And the goal is to help men to find a place to gather, to grow in fraternity, prayer, and faith formation, so they know their faith better and can live their faith better in the home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mike, this core initiative that sounds not only profoundly important for the Knights, but for the church at large.
Yes,
Curious if you can share with us, how has this initiative impacted you as a man of God, as a husband, as a father, and how has this touched your life?
I'm blessed to be part of a group of about 10 men that have been meeting for about 15 years, every couple of weeks. And so I've been experiencing CORE before CORE had a name in the same way.
Okay.
So that brotherhood with my fellow Catholic husbands and fathers, to me, is essential. I find that when we miss meetings, I'm kind of floundering a little bit. And so the goal with the Nights here is to bring something that has a simple structure and a place for men to meet at the parish through the Knights of Columbus. And not only Knights are invited to grow in their faith, to learn to share their hearts of faith with each other. And that experience of real fraternity changes men's lives.
Yeah.
And it's something that every man will want to be a part of once he tastes it. So that's our hope.
And you said something very important there that maybe is missed. It's offered for the parish, for any men in the parish, not just for members of the
That is correct, yes. It's for any man in the parish, led by the Knights of Columbus, with the support of their pastor.
And there is a set program, but it also doesn't, a council or a pastor or a deacon doesn't have to necessarily follow the set program. Anything that is spiritual development, can say even leadership development, can be used.
Leadership development is definitely part of what we hope to have happen. As long as prayer, fraternity, and faith formation are happening, that's a core meeting.
Okay.
So that was a big part of the Supreme Knight's address. I also would just like to point out his joy at talking about his trip to the Philippines. I think that trip and his encounter with such unbelievable levels of poverty and what the Knights are doing there, I was moved. The first time I heard him about it, he was really moved again tonight. And so, yeah, I just want to lift that up as well. I think that was a highlight of the speech.
Yeah.
What touched you about that trip in particular? Because I mean, I had all kinds of emotions thinking about, especially when we heard these words. This is not just the peripheries.
Yes, it's beyond.
It's beyond the peripheries.
And I mean, coming from a North American perspective,
it's not
something that we can truly understand unless we experience that. And then here is the Supreme Knight talking about being on the ground in what is even beyond the peripheries. And what does that mean to you?
When he tells the story of the children that live in the garbage dump, who are abandoned by their parents and who are served by a particular priest who tries to put them on a path towards escaping that life, it just takes your breath away. And to see the pictures and videos of the children who, at least when they're with that priest in his ministry, are so joyful, who are in a pure survival mode without the help of the Catholic Church and without the help of the Knights, to me, it puts great perspective of truth on the human condition and the dignity of every person and how the Knights try to be a part of that solution. And it also struck me that a quarter of our Knights of Columbus are Filipino.
Yeah, that I did not know.
Are in the Philippines, yes. So more than a quarter of our active Knights are in the Philippines. So what a blessing that Father McGivney began this, 143 years ago.